Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our August meetup. My name is Muhannad. I'm a solution architect working with Astro, and I will be your host for today. So, as always, we try to get you the best speaker from the community to share their experience with us. And let me introduce you to our first speaker. His name is Hussain. He's a system engineer at REA Group, and he will share why you may need to move from CloudFormation to Terraform, as Terraform become very popular lately. Hussein, are you ready? I will pass it to you, and you can start.
Hi.
Hi, Hussein. Yeah, it's
Hello, how
all
are you?
yours.
Thank you
It's
so
all
much.
yours.
So let's begin. Hi, everybody. Welcome to AWS User Group Malaysia August session. My name is Hussain Mansoor, and I'm lead systems engineer with REA Group. And today we are going to talk about IAC, that is infrastructure as a code practice, and what's beyond that. So let's begin. So agenda for today is quickly what is ILC, what we do at REA, some myths about ILC, some benefits, some cons, and a small demo. Okay. So let's begin. So what is infrastructure as a code? I'm not gonna go very detailed in the basics of it, but just for the gist of it. So CloudFormation, primary IAC tool introduced by AWS, was introduced in 2011. At that time, it was supported only JSON. YAML support was added in 2016. Then there is this Terraform, amazing tool by HashiCorp. You can write Terraform in JSON. You can write Terraform in HCL, which is a DSL by HashiCorp itself. And that's amazing. Moving forward, there's a serverless framework for basically serverless applications and event-driven architecture. We're going to talk about that a little bit towards the end, and that is also amazing. So it's if you're just writing your application and with Lambda, with event-driven architecture, serverless is your tool. You don't have to write a lot of YAML. It wraps. It is an abstraction on top of, I don't know, CloudFormation maybe, but it's just amazing. And then very recently in 2019, last year, AWS introduced CDK, which is Cloud Development Kit. And you can use any programming language like, not any, but most popular languages like Terraform, JavaScript, Java, Python. And you can define your infrastructure. And what's beyond? So something is beyond, in context of REA and in context of what how I work. So what is beyond that? And I'll explore that towards the end of my talk. So, why we need infrastructure as a code? So just to share this information with you, I don't know if you can see this image. So at REA, we have about 173 repositories, which contains infrastructure as a code. And if you think that 173 repositories itself is a lot of repositories, then consider the number of repositories we have in total, which is like obviously a few thousands, but 173 dedicated only for infrastructure code, and definitely it will be more than 173. So why do we need infrastructure as a code? Well, we all know it's used for defining our infrastructure with consistency and repeatability. So you can have your same development environment, you can replicate and repeat the same infrastructure for your staging and so on and so forth. And infrastructure as a code, IAC, is like a TDD. So at start, if you're a newbie, if you're new to this cloud paradigm, you think that it will waste your time. It's not required. Console is good enough. But over the time, with maturity, with working on a lot of products, large scale systems, you would realize that TDD is love, and so does IAC. And actually, IAC is not a separate thing which you do when you maintain cloud. It's just become part of your process. So let's move on and let's see what are some myths or what are some assumptions with IAC. So IAC is used to provision resources only. So this is one assumption which maybe most of you have, or most of us have, but that is not correct. So IAC can be used for if you want to maintain your inventory, ISE can also be used as a deployment tool. ISE can also be used for audit purposes. If it's part of your process, then actually it also helps as a learning tool. So if I am implementing something and I am writing infrastructure as a code, and if I follow best practices of source control management, I push it to a repository, some other engineer will do a PR, pull request, will have some comments on that. And so that's how he will also learn and I will also learn. So it's also a learning tool to understand your infrastructure much better. It is hard to use infrastructure as a code if the number of resources is a lot. So if I have a lot of, let's say if I have hundreds of resources, I have to write a lot of infrastructure as a code. That is also one assumption, which to me I think is not correct. Okay. The thing is, like, if you have a lot of resources, think long term. It will help you manage your infrastructure a much better way. Okay. Then infrastructure will not support the service I use. Okay, fair enough. It's possible that Terraform might not support something which is released by AWS, but I'm working on cloud for like 4 to 5 years now. Previously, I was a developer. So in this last 5 years, never ever I had this issue that Terraform or CloudFormation is not supporting a service. So maybe if you are that one top person who are using so specialized services, or the latest tech out there from AWS, maybe that's true for you. But majority of the developers, majority of the teams, it's just perfect. Okay, it is not secured. Oh, I love this sentence because I hear it a lot of times from a lot of people. That Terraform, the state management is not good. It's not secured. You have to push it to S3, or it's a file-based state management. Yeah, well, to all of these comments, I say that if you can't secure your S3 buckets, then maybe cloud is not for you. And who is asking you to push your state to S3 if you can't do that? You can just secure it as a local file if that works for you, or just push it to Git. Definitely you can secure your Git repository maybe better than S3 bucket. So this is definitely not true. How you manage it is totally up to you, and there are tons of ways to manage your state. Just saying that Terraform is not secured is like saying that Lambda is just too latest for me. It's not for me. So you should explore it. 100% ISE should not be target. Same argument as with TDD. It's maybe not practical, sometimes not feasible to achieve 100% ISE, but the argument is same. You should try as much as possible. At RIA, I would not say we are using 100%. 100% of our resources use ISE, but I would say it's somewhere 90 plus, and we are okay with that. We have agreed that the majority of the resources, repeatable process, resources, environments should be created with ISE. And one of things, once in a blue moon, we have to change something. ISE it's fine. So when is ISE is especially useful? What are the circumstances we should use ISE? So multiple deployments, multiple environments. So multiple environment is fine, right? It's staging, dev, staging, production, UAT, beta, whatever. What is multiple deployments? So this is context. So for RIA group, where I work, we have a lot of products. We have, as you may know, we have iproperty.com.my. Previously, we also had iproperty.com.sg for Singapore, and we have products for Hong Kong. We have products for Thailand. We have products for a lot of markets. So basically, what we do is whenever we build something, we build for all of our markets, and that same thing goes for infrastructure as well. So if we do some cost optimization, we want that cost optimization to be part of all the multiple products, all the different markets. If we have to do it manually using AWS console or CLI, then we have to do it for all the different accounts. So for RIA Asia, we have about 35 plus accounts, and I don't think that anything above 2 or 3 times. If you do it manually, it makes sense. So that's why infrastructure is a code. So learn the details of what you use and run. So if you want to understand your infrastructure to the very detail, like how actually auto scaling works, what are the targets, events, how EC2, what is the user data of EC2 every time I update something, what will happen, will it work, will it not work, every minute detail. If you want to learn, and if you have more knowledge, if you are good at understanding your infrastructure, understanding AWS services, it helps you run the application more cheaply, in a more efficient way, better. So it's knowledge and information is always better. So you do learn more by writing IAC rather than just clicking. So you may click ops and create some infrastructure, but I would not guarantee, or nobody can guarantee, that they will remember the exact steps. And there are so many things which happens under the hood. AWS does many things for you. When you create ECS cluster, not everything is visible to you. When you create the task definitions from the UI, only like most required fields are visible to you, which is like 10-15 fields. But under the hood, if you have to define your task definition by hand or by using IAC, any tool, then you would know the power of AWS, how minute small configurations you can manage. Okay, for compliance or strict security requirements, how would you know that you're not running I don't know, some AWS service X? How to ensure that? One way is that you remove the rights of every user to modify infra and just use ISC. Okay, the other thing is you access all the AWS accounts and try to find that service. So which one is better, right? So there are maybe other ways, like you can scan your infrastructure frequently and make sure that it's compliant, but ISC is pretty good in that area as well. So infra as a service and resources as tools. So infrastructure as a code helps you to define your infrastructure as a service. Your developers once knows that everything is ready, everything what we need, it's just there. You just have to run your infrastructure as a tool, you just have to run your stack and your infrastructure will be ready, right? And all the resources are your tools. Like resources in this particular sense is like Terraform or CloudFormation. Static analysis of resources, patterns, and security is possible if you're using infrastructure as a code. If you're just clicking, I don't think you can analyze if you're doing correctly, or how would you improve your clicking, right? So not everything is good. There are some cons of it. So what are some cons of ISC? So quickly just going to have to understand every bit of infra requirements. So infrastructure will not be provisioned if you have some mistake in your ISC. If your CloudFormation stack or CloudFormation template is not correct, if you have some errors in your Terraform. So you have to understand every bit of it. Yeah, you can take it as positive, you can take it as negative as well. So it depends on you. And maintain an application like a source code. So your stack, you have to maintain it, you have to update it. So Terraform version 0.13 was introduced very recently, was released, right? And if you're just using light version of Terraform Docker image, I was doing that in one of the projects, and I just run my script, and the gates of hell went loose because the Terraform version was updated and it's not compatible with version 1.2. And I was doing something which is not compatible maybe. And the infrastructure, I had to do a lot of things. I have to change a few things in order to make it compatible back to version 0.12. So you can take this as maybe a downside. Doesn't work if frequent manual changes are required. So infrastructure as code will not work if if you just think that let me just change it my infrastructure. Let me just create this one EC2 instance now, and later I will import it maybe, or I will just write the infrastructure as a code later. I will write this Terraform later, or I will write this CloudFormation. It will not work. Okay, so if for whatever reasons, if it is required that you have to do this, then infrastructure code might not be very useful for you, right? And initial infra is ISE and then adoption. And I faced this myself in my last company, that initial infra, the starting point was beautiful. We were planning for ISE and all that, but when the project was close to release, it was we had to release it. Nobody had time, nobody had motivation to write ISE, and everybody just accessed AWS console and just provision whatever was required for the release. In this particular case, I don't think ISE will work, because going back and importing all the resources back into ISE and writing ISE for something which your target has changed. Now your target is not to provision. Now your target is to maintain something. If you look at it from the ops perspective, then it's very hard as a process to do this. Okay, so some positives, some negatives. Now let's learn something like some beneficial information which I learned from my experience. Like multi-stage Docker builds, if you have Docker and if you know what is multi-stage builds. So develop everything in chaos, but move to a cleaner house when done, right? So what I mean is that infrastructure as a code, when the project is new, when the requirements is not firm like all the time, and when you don't know what you want, your PO don't know what you want, you have just slight idea, you start working on that. If you are talking about some agile framework or methodology, then you start from there and you keep on working on it, you polish it, you work on it, you improve it, and eventually you have a working prototype or project. At that moment, if you are using ISE, then you have a final stage which is required for your project. But your AWS account might have a lot of other clutter. You maybe somebody accessed it, created something, or deleted something, or provisioned some just for the test. Believe me, you will have something in your AWS account. If someone had access to your AWS account, you will have something extra which is not required. So one way to manage this in a better way is to use that ISE, nuke your AWS account or create new AWS account and just run that ISE. So it will do two things. It will remove all those clutters from your new account. It will be a clean account, and actually it will also help you save cost, because all those services which you don't need is not there. So you will get confidence and you'll be 100% sure that whatever is required is there, not anything more, not anything less. So that's awesome way of using ISE. Second thing is idempotency. So it's like, if you have an ISE and everything is fine, everything is working, if you run it again, it should not change anything. Okay, that's the idea. That's a declarative way of managing your ISE. So if it's not the case, if you have used, so some mistakes which I did in the past, if you have used dates or months or some references which change based on time or some external references, then it's not idempotency. Then whenever you execute your ISE, you will get something extra or something will be removed. And then that should not be the target. Your target should be that every time you execute ISE, it just creates whatever is required. Okay, right tool, right place, right size. Not every ISE is equal. Not every requirement is same. So one example I would like to quote here is that if you want to provision Lambda, and if you want integration with API gateway, and if you want to create some S3 bucket for it, and if you want your SQS or SNS events, then as I mentioned initially, maybe you don't want to write the whole CloudFormation YAML files. Maybe that's just too much. So the best tool, you can use SAM, serverless architecture. model from AWS, or my personal favorite is serverless framework, SLS. SLS is amazing. You just have to write 10-15 lines of YAML file and everything will be ready for you. So much better than writing CloudFormation. Even Terraform, it's better than Terraform in that way. So it should not be like, if we are committed to CloudFormation, then everything should be CloudFormation. It should not be like that. Right tool, right place, right size. Okay, so let's move on. So we have seen some positive, some negative, some experiences. And until now we are talking about two tools, CloudFormation and Terraform. So CloudFormation, what is the difference? What is the final verdict? So CloudFormation tries to keep the goal state. So what you have your CloudFormation, you have your code, and that is the state, that is the blueprint you want your infrastructure to be. That is your final state, that is your end goal. So CloudFormation tries to keep the goal, and Terraform actually keeps that state. So there is some difference. So what is the difference? Let me share my screen and let me show you guys. Let me provision something from CloudFormation. Let me provision something from Terraform, and let's try to modify manually and let's see what happens. So let me just share my screen. And okay, so I have CDK. I'm not using CloudFormation. I'm using CDK, which is just an abstraction on top of CloudFormation, but it's better. And alternately I'm using Terraform. So one more difference which I forgot to mention is that if you are replicating CloudFormation to a lot of multiple projects or products, you have to use some external tools like Ansible to maintain the parameters, or you have to write a lot of shell scripts. Okay, either way works, but a tool helps you there. So in CDK you don't need all that. You can define your environment settings, your project or product settings, everything as a code. And since it's like JavaScript or TypeScript, some programming language, you can do if else and a lot of those kind of things, and it works out of the box. So we started this at 7:21 something. Let's see how much time it takes. So I'm deploying this in Southeast 1, and I am just creating an S3 bucket. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so it's done. What am I doing if I show you? This is my CDK. A bucket name, just checking my environment. If it's staging, just append .std in the bucket name and just create the bucket. And that's pretty much it. That's 20 lines of code. That's what I'm doing. So let's see if the bucket has been provisioned. This is my bucket name. It has been provisioned. Now I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to add a new tag. And I'm going to save it. Okay. And for the sake of idempotency, I'm just going to deploy again. So let's see what happens. It says no changes, right? The CDK, it says no changes. And I'll go back to my console and I go back to CloudFormation. And so this is my stack, and this is my resources, an S3 bucket and some metadata along with it, and nothing there. So where is my change? I added this one tag. Where is it? Why it's not visible? So you have to do is you have to detect drift, and then AWS will do some magic. And if you do view details, then it says that it is modified. Okay, and what is modified? View drift details, and so this is the part which is modified. Okay, fair enough. But how to undo it, right? Because my code, my infrastructure as a code does not have this. So how to know, how to modify, how to undo all this? And the one tag is very easy thing. Let's consider you have like thousands of resources, and this is your production environment, and someone has changed a lot of resources, put new tags or whatever, or change policies. How would you undo all that? Because just now we have seen that running the CloudFormation does not help. The CDK says that you have no changes, but there are some changes, right? So what to do? So unfortunately, you undo anything out of the box. Now let's see what happens with Terraform. I'm deploying Terraform, and we started at something 726 something. Generally, I've also seen that Terraform is much faster than CloudFormation, but I don't want to mention it as officially it is like that. But within few seconds, we saw that it's done. Okay, so refresh and let's see if we have a new bucket. So we have Terraform TF demo bucket. Let's do the same thing with this one, and I added this one tag. Okay, since Terraform does not have a state management in AWS console, it manages its state locally. So this terraform.tf state is the state file. Okay, but that's not the target for today. So let's see if I deploy again, what happens. It says there's a change, which is this tag. And in my script, I have said that just apply the changes. Okay, whatever the changes, just keep my infrastructure equal to my code, and it has done those changes. So let's refresh this configuration page and let's see. My tag demo true is not there, and it all comes down to it's not right or wrong or correct way of doing it. It's just two different tools managing your infrastructure in two different ways. Okay, so which one should you choose is up to you. So one more thing is that Terraform import is much better than CloudFormation import. I don't have a demo for that, but from the experience, I'm telling you, like if you have a lot of infrastructure which you have to import manually, Terraform import works in a much better way than CloudFormation import. And I almost towards my end, I have just a few minutes left. So let's talk about beyond part. So what is beyond this CloudFormation and CDK / CloudFormation debate? So beyond, in my context, in context of RIA, in context of my experience with ISE, is that Terraform is so strong tool that AWS announced CDK for Terraform. And CDK for Terraform means that you write your CDK and you'll get Terraform as output. Why would you want to do that? Why do you want Terraform as your output? Terraform itself is ISE, but it shows that Terraform is so popular that basically they are trying to replace HCL, which is a domain specific language for writing Terraform, and now you can write your Terraform in any language like Python, TypeScript, whatever you're expert in. but the output will not be a CloudFormation template. The output will be Terraform. So Terraform state management, Terraform ecosystem is so strong that AWS does this. So it gives you some hints, like Terraform is a pretty solid tool. One thing you have noticed that I have never mentioned about Terraform supporting multiple clouds. For us, it's just doesn't make sense. We are not multi-cloud. AWS is good enough for us. And even if it is multi-cloud, it's not like Java. You just have to compile the same Java code from Windows to Linux and it's gonna work plus minus something. You have to rewrite your Terraform. The only thing you will learn, you will take back is the state management, your syntax learnings, and only those things. But the same code which creates your AWS resources will not create your GCP resources. So you have to rewrite Terraform. Okay. So ISE as a tool. So what does this mean? So ISE as a tool means that what we have created is that we have written some ISE. We have deployed the same infrastructure so many times that instead of sharing the code, the infrastructure as a code, we have wrapped around it as a tool, and we are saying that with the sensible defaults, and we have shared with our teams, and we have asked them, if you want an ECR repository with lifecycle hooks and with this and this permissions and whatever is required for that, you just run this commands and you will get that. You don't have to understand like behind the scenes, it's Terraform, it's CloudFormation, it's CDK, it's Plumi, whatever. Okay, you will just get your resources. So that's as a tool, and that's very good way of managing ISE. Okay, everyone will, because what's the downside of not why people don't use ISE is like, we don't understand ISE and I have to learn a new tool, and every time there are changes I have to change something. But if you use it as a tool and you just execute that command, somebody else manages it, or you manage it separately. It's a different level of abstraction. So if you want to change it, you just change it in infrastructure as a tool. Not everyone in your team or in your organization have to understand those changes. They can just run it as a tool, as a whatever grep tool, any command line tool, and they will get the benefits out of it. So they don't have to understand the infrastructure as a code if it's not required. Then what's beyond that? What's the latest thing on top of this we did in RIA? So we did is that we introduced ISE as service. Now what's the difference between tool and service? Like, it's not just wordings. The difference is that in our pipelines, you just plug in this Jenkins plugin or whatever plugin. You just put this plugin, you just integrate this plugin, and if your pipeline is if there is a Docker build stage, the Docker build step, the next stage is this particular plugin. It's just gonna make sure that ECR is there, everything is there, and you don't have to do anything. Everything, all the required arguments, parameters, context, it takes from the build kite pipeline. And by doing that, the one more benefit is that now you don't have to run commands like previously with ISE tool. You have to run it yourself. Now it's a managed service. Now the plugin will be managed by us. Whatever is ISE is managed by us. At the organization level, consider when you have like hundreds of teams and you have like few hundreds of developers pushing a lot of code out there to the production and doing a lot of infrastructure changes. You don't have to manage each individual infrastructure separately and understand it separately. It's all about governance, and it's all about compliance. So what they have to do is they have to integrate that particular plugin, and if anything goes wrong with that, just pass it to the person who manages it, because not every, and if you want to improve it, the Git repo is public, so You can read it, you can understand it, you can modify it. That's everything is fine, but you don't have to run it. So that's what's beyond for us. And by doing this, by pushing towards this, we are seeing the benefits also, and we hope also that everyone will move towards ISC as service. So one final point from my is, how do you restrict people not modifying your infra? How do you restrict people doing ClickOps? There's no perfect answer, but the answer to that is, don't give them access. Don't let them do it. Okay, if you let them do it, then you have to trust them that whatever they did was the best solution for the time. Final thing is, if you want to understand more about the processes, the best practices, there's a white paper from AWS, Infrastructure as a Code. It's amazing. You should go ahead and read it. There's a recently on 20th August, AA Cloud Group released this blog post, CloudFormation versus Terraform or CDK guide. It's amazing. It goes deep down to a lot of things which I just mentioned. Then these two tools are amazing. Terraformer and AWS Console Recorder. So what this Terraformer does is that it will, let me share my full screen. What this Terraformer does is that it's a CLI tool, but it generates Terraform file from existing infrastructure. So let's say for time constraints, for you have to be done and ready with your MVC. You just did ClickOps, you created your whole infrastructure, and now you need ISC. So there is a way. You use Terraformer. There's one way to do it, right? And it's amazing. The 3,500 stars shows that it must be working. Other thing is, this AWS recorder. So what this does is records the actions made in the AWS management console and outputs the equivalent CLI CDK command for CloudFormation on Terraform. So the previous this particular tool, if you have already created everything, okay, and now you need infrastructure, then you can just use this tool and you get infrastructure. And from now on, promise that you will use ISC and you will get the benefits. But let's say you want to do something and you don't have time to write ISC, you don't understand it, whatever is the reason, then not all hope is lost. There is something. So maybe you can try this out. Okay, and by doing that, I am done and I'm open for questions if you have any.
Cool. That was a nice one, Hussain. I really enjoyed it. So we have a couple of questions from the guys and from me as well. So I will start with Timothy. So Timothy have one question saying, do you recommend all developers contribute to IAC or only specialized engineers?
Hi, Tim. Actually, Tim works with me.
Okay. This is a chance to ask you open questions.
No, everyone should understand ISC. You own it, you run it. So if you develop something, the development team should understand every bit of it. That's why we have like full stack developers, right? They should understand everything. So, but understanding is one thing, and writing ISC for every module and every resource is another thing. So definitely developers can contribute, discuss, understand, learn. I would not recommend they write each and every ISC. A specialization is always beneficial in some way or other.
I totally agree. So we have another question from Tim. So he's saying CloudFormation only trying to get the requested state. Does this mean that Terraform will not have the very common circular dependency issue that CloudFormation often has? No
tool is perfect. Okay, I'm not saying CloudFormation is perfect. Yeah, I bashed CloudFormation a lot, and I said a few positive things in favor of Terraform, but I'm not saying Terraform is perfect as well, right? So yes, what you're saying is right, and There are some other issues as well, like state management. You have to understand and learn and properly manage the state with Terraform. It's not only secular dependency. There are some other things, but it's always about what is the less evil. You always choose less, whatever is less evil.
Correct. Love the answer. Okay, I have a question from myself actually. Just want to check you guys in the team. Like, are you like very strict that any update or creating anything on the infra should be through the Terraform, or you still sometimes doing like some updates from the console?
Okay, so the answer is that our senior developers, they have the full access to read only, and they can do some basic things, but they cannot just create everything. If you are changing the application stack, then you have to write ISE. That is a strict policy, but not 100%. So there are some services. For example, the example is Route 53. So if something is wrong with your application, and if you have to route quickly your application to a new stack or something like that, or a disaster recovery, some new region, we do it manually. Okay. But if something is, yeah.
Okay, got it. Another question from me as well, from your experience, right? Do you, when there's a new service from AWS, for example, right? How do you see like fast Terraform got this new service? You can update everything through Terraform. Does it take like sometimes, or is it quite fast?
Okay, so if something is very new, like AWS Kendra, right? I don't know about what is it, and hopefully we will learn a lot. But let's say if Kendra is released recently and we have to do some POC on it and we have to learn on it. So in RIA, actually, we don't write ISE for those things. There's a separate AWS account, and we just go and click ops and learn and everything. But if we want to use it in a project, then we will write ISE for that, so that it's repeatable.
Okay, got it. And just last one for me as well, as like I'm very interested like lately in Terraform. do you have usually like a mixed thing, like maybe sometimes you use like CloudFormation and SAM for something and Terraform for other purpose, or you just like use Terraform for everything?
So previously we were using Terraform for everything. Like if there was an ISE, it was a CloudFormation. But recently I have played with Terraform. I have used Terraform in some of the projects, and moving forward, maybe it's a CDK. Maybe we might not write CloudFormation or Terraform. We will use CDK.
You just will automate it by yourself. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, Hussain. I think that's it. We have Aziz saying some tips as well. You guys can read it. I think that's the question we have. And I really enjoyed your presentation, man. And happy to have you. See you around that. Okay. Thank you so much, Hussain. So our next speaker. Before our next speaker, we're having this break right now. It's for hiring announcements. So we have 3 announcements right now. We have one from Astro, which we are hiring right now, engineering team lead. So if you're really interested to work with the big team, with the cross-functional role where you communicate with DevOps teams, security teams, ops teams, this job definitely for you. So you can reach these links actually on LinkedIn and apply directly, or you can reach me on LinkedIn as well and send me your CV. We have another job and opening for Seek Asia, a senior software engineer. And this is a note from the HR. They are looking for people that discover knowledge, background focus on backend technologies. So as well, you can send directly to this email, career. We will share it on the user group on Facebook as well. And this Kaushik helped us with creating this cool QR code. So if you want to from us to shout out your hiring or any job opening in your team, you can just scan this code, fill the details, and we will do it next time as well. Okay, so should we jump okay, before we jump to another next speaker as well. So the reInvent this year won't cost you any money. Usually, as you know, you need to travel to Las Vegas and buy the ticket, which is like quite expensive. This year it will be free, and you definitely should attend it online. So you can go to this link as well and check what will be in this year reInvent. And this is for you guys. This is your chance to share as well, like Hussain. You can just scan this QR code and fill your details for any topic related to AWS. You can share it with our community. So please, guys, just come whatever the level of the topic. That should be fine. So just scan the QR code and fill the details as well. And I'm so happy that we have Ankit as well. Kaushik helped us to get Ankit this time, which is a community hero from AWS and the AWS community leader in India, where they do a lot of awesome meetups like this one. And we're definitely learning from cool stuff from them as well. So I'm happy to introduce Ankit. Ankit, can you share your camera with us as well?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, but I can't see you. So Ankit will share with us today about the new service. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, my screen is visible.
It's taking a bit of time. Not yet. Just let's give it a few seconds. Okay, I can see. So Ankit will share with us about Kendra, which is how you can build a search service for your company. It's this is the first time anyone talk about Kendra in our user group, so I'm very happy to learn more about it, especially from Ankit, which he has a good reputation in the AWS community as well. So Ankit, I will give it to you from here. But are you sharing your camera or just your voice and the slides?
Voice and only the slide.
Okay, that should be fine. Okay, it's all yours, man. Looking forward.
Good. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, based out of Malaysia. My name is Ankit Gupta, and it's my pleasure to speak in AWS Malaysia Users Group Meetup. Before I will start the today's topic, which is Amazon Kendra, building a next generation enterprise search, I would like to give you an update about AWS India community. So last year we have done community days, a full day meetup in various cities in India. This year we are conducting this event online, and any one of you can join this sessions. This is the website communityday.awsuz.in. This is a free event. We are doing this year on 16th and 17th of October. And this will be an online event on YouTube live streaming. And we have a keynote speaker, Jeb Barr, Vice President and Chief Evangelist of AWS, joining as a keynote speaker. And there are multiple excellent speakers joining this sessions. So you can learn different technology stacks of AWS services and feature. So feel free to register for this session. This is a free sessions, and we are doing online this year in India. With that, a quick introduction about me. So as you know, like, my name is Ankit Gupta, and let me share my journey with AWS. So it's been close to 8 years. I have started my journey in 2012 with AWS. And the way I have started is I have hosted a small static website on Amazon S3, and I have leveraged the CloudFront. Then slowly I have learned it, and I have developed and deployed a dynamic website on AWS. And since last 8 years, I have worked on multiple projects where I have worked on big data analytics on AWS, IoT analytics on AWS, large migrations, database migrations, DevOps side. And since last 1 year, I'm also exploring and learning machine learning and artificial intelligence. So as you can understand, the pace of innovation AWS is doing, they keep on launching new services and new features. and which is changing the entire gamut of the architecture. Whether it's the networking strategy for the customer, right? They are coming with transit gateway and other cool networking solutions, which will drastically reduce the overall network management. Or in the same way, if you can look at out the machine learning space, they keep on launching and adding these services and features which will help in reducing the overall effort for the customers, right? So it's a very important for us to get updated what's going on in the market, so that we can go to the customer with the right solutions and the services. And this is how I learned from different speakers, what they do, what best practices they are implementing it, and I try learn something new from them and go back to the customer with the proper solutions. So since last 8 years, AWS has recognized me in a couple of ways. So they have recognized me last year as a AWS community hero. Also, there is a program called AWS Amazon Partner Network Ambassador. This is a program where the partners, the partners ambassador contributes to the partner community. And currently, I'm in a top 10 ambassador globally. And they have also recognized me as a AWS community leader from India for organizing various meetups and driving the thought leadership innovations in India regions. Before moving to the Kendra, I would like to thank the organizing team for inviting me, because with the help of this, there is a pro side of this COVID also. We are able to connect online, even from a different part in the world, and able to, share our learning and experiences. And in the since last 3 months, we are not able to go to anywhere, and we are just keep on doing this kind of online meetups. So like 2 weeks back, we have done for Nepal and some of the major cities in India. So this is very good how we are collaborating and helping each other. Before making any delay, I would move on to Amazon Kendra. So this is the service which AWS has launched in last reInvent in Las Vegas. And this was on preview. 1 month back only, they have made it generally available. Amazon Kendra is all about rethinking how the enterprise search can be done, right? So before going to the enterprise search, let us look at how they are doing the innovation on the machine learning space. So as you know, Amazon has started their journey with the is an online book selling company, right? And they have started implementing the machine learning in every space, whether it's setting up a recommendation engine. If you buy one product, recommending a similar line of product to the customers. So everywhere they are trying to leverage machine learning to understand the customer mindset and to help them with the right products and right offerings, right? And you can understand they have applied a deep learning in a very large manner with their innovation stack, and that's the reason they are able to drive this machine learning space in a much faster way. So they are 20-year-old. If you talk about in a machine learning space, they are 20 years old, and they have done this in a very long way. And based on their experiences and based on their learning, now they are coming up with different offerings in AWS, which we can help or which we can use to help the end customers. So if you look at this stack set of machine learning, right? So AWS is having 175 plus services and features, right? Out of which they are having multiple services for machine learning and artificial intelligence side. So if you go, bottom, we have a couple of open source or let's say ML framework like TensorFlow or PyTorch or MXNet, right? This all open source framework or maybe third party framework you can easily run in AWS. AWS provides instances, GPU based instances, where you can leverage these instances to run your machine learning application. Also, AWS gives you an opportunity. So if you look at out the middle layer, right, The middle layer, you can look into SageMaker or the ground truth. So these are the machine learning services by AWS, which helps you in building a machine learning application. You can create your own machine learning model, and you can train those model, and based on that they can act on it. All right. And if you can see the top layer, right? So top layer are already pre-built, pre-built model, which you can use it for your own purpose. So let's say for converting text to speech, they are having model, which we say as a service in AWS. For recognizing or analyzing the video, they are having model, right? For interacting with a chatbot, they are having model, right? So they are having different kind of model. And Amazon Kendra is one of their AI service, which has built on top of machine learning, which will help you, in building a enterprise grade search for your applications, right? So no tension you have to take on writing the code or building the model. They are already providing you the model. Just what you need to do is you need to know how to make an API call to these services, and you have to train your data with this model to build the better solutions for your applications. Let us look at Amazon Kendra in detail. So, just to give you a background, what is the current challenge we have in enterprise search space? So, when we say enterprise search, this is a common use case in every company, whether it's a manufacturing, retail, pharma, financial. Everybody we deals with a lot of operational effort, a lot of support effort. Let's say even in my company, if I want to know like how many days of sick leave is my company is providing, I need to go back to my company policy to check it, right? Let's say there's a person B who had recently joined the organization, as he's very new, and he want to know like how to take a leave in a company, or how to go for a maternity leave, or how to set up a VPN, right? He has to go through, he has to either contact some person or go through certain rule and regulations. So, always we deal with these kind of challenges, and always we see like more time is getting consumed in these areas. So if you look at out the study, we already have some search available, but there are two major challenges available with them. The first major challenge, as per the IDC, is we are only able to it's very difficult to find the right information at right time. So as per the IDC, like only 20% of the time we are able to find the right thing at the right time. Let's say today I want to know how many of on leave the company is providing, right? So how quickly I can get the informations, right? Or it should not take much time, right? I should be able to get the information quickly. So this is the first challenge as per the current enterprise search: how quickly we can get the right information from the right sources. This is the first challenge. The second challenge that currently is, there are a lot of data coming from various sources, whether it's a traditional structured data, or we can say a semi-structured data, or unstructured data, which is keep on flowing everywhere through social media like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or let's say a SaaS-based applications, let's say a Salesforce or any other SaaS-based applications. These days, we are dealing with lot of data, and these data are not in terabyte, these are in petabyte, zettabytes kind of data we are dealing with. These are in a different format: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. So keeping these two challenges in a view, one is like the different kind of data we are getting, and it's very important to meaningfully utilize these data to get a meaningful information. And the second is how quickly we can find the right information and right time. These are the some of the challenges which we have currently. Amazon has think about is very deeply, and they have come up with this Kendra. So this Kendra has changed the entire gamut of how the enterprise search can be done, or how we can rethink about the enterprise search. So they have solved this two bigger problem of enterprise search with the Kendra service. So we can easily find, using this Kendra, we can easily find the right information at the right time. Also, it's very easy to manage various data sources, whether it's a structured or semi-structured or unstructured. Very easy to set up. So Amazon Kendra is an enterprise search service which is based out of entire machine learning model of Amazon, which help us in finding the right information at right time. Amazon Kendra is a very simple to set up. In a few minutes, you can set up a Amazon Kendra. You connect to a various data sources. So your data sources, can be of anything. It can be of Amazon S3 bucket. It can be of Amazon RDS service. It can be of like any SaaS-based applications, let's say a Salesforce or Dropbox. Amazon provides a connector to connect to those data sources. So now it's a pretty simple to analyze various data which you have available in structured and unstructured format. So think about any data you are having, let's say in a PDF file, or let's say in a PowerPoint, or let's say in a MS Word. You can easily, store those data in a data source, and you will be able to find meaningful information from those data. All right. I would like to also highlight this Amazon Kendra is based on, this natural language search. So you can easily perform the natural language search on Amazon Kendra data. Let's say like how many days of leaves the company is providing, or how can I how can I get a let's say a data card in my company. So those all question can be answered. Those all natural language question can be answered. So this Kendra is adding a one layer, one layer on top of the traditional enterprise search. So traditional enterprise search can help you in doing a keyword based searching. Let's say holiday policy, or let's say a leave policy, or anything, let's say a VPN policies. So you are able to do these things using traditional enterprise search, but Kendra is adding one layer on top of that, and you can even perform a natural language search, and Kendra can provide you a better result compared to other traditional enterprise search. Let us look at out the Kendra in more detail and understand how it works, right? So as I mentioned, like Kendra is a enterprise grade service, right? And it's very easy to set up and operate, right? And this can deal with unstructured data. So you can point to your unstructured data. You can store your unstructured data, let's say in S3 or in any other data source, and you just point that data source with Amazon Kendra, and it will be able to query it, right? Amazon Kendra is again a highly available service, and this is very scalable service. So let's say you want to analyze a huge data which you are having in your system. Let's say you are having, let's think about the entire recruitment system, right? Let's say you are having, you are running your company since last 10 years, and in the last 10 years you have interviewed a lot of people. You have received a resume of a lot of people, right? Let's say 10,000 people, 10,000 resumes you have received it. What you can do is take those 10,000 resume, put in S3, right? And create an index in Kendra, right? Once you create an index in Kendra, connect S3 as a connector, right? And out of these 10,000 resumes, if you want to find some meaningful information, let's say how many resources has done a DevOps certifications, you can easily get a result very quickly. Or let's say who has done the Cisco certifications, right? Or who who all employees are based out of, let's say, Malaysia, or who all are employees are based out of Singapore. So the entire, your operational effort is going to reduce with the help of this Amazon Kendra. So this is one of the use case I just talked about it. There can be a multiple use case in a various industry, be the pharma, manufacturing, retail, or any service-based industry. You can utilize this Amazon Kendra to reduce your operational overhead. Amazon Kendra also supports factoid questions. So you can create a FAQ based question and you can just write down those FAQs. And what it will do, whenever you do a search in Amazon Kendra, it will try to compare the result with those FAQs and return the result. You can also do a keyword based searching in Amazon Kendra. That is also available, right? I think you all are now wondering about what is this Kendra is, how this looks like, because I talk a lot about Kendra and what the business value it is bringing to the table. So to showcase you how the Kendra works, right? I'll show you a URL https dot colon code 19.aws. Here, what AWS has done it. AWS has created a data lake and hosted here, which is a code 19.aws. So what AWS has done it, they have built this web page, right? And they have integrated a data source, right? So this entire screen, which you are able to see in my screen, code 19.aws, this screen has built on top of Kendra, right? And I wanted to give you the overview how exactly this Kendra works. So let's say you are an end users and you want to find certain meaningful informations from the data source which you are available. So for this case study, what AWS has done it, uh, they have taken all the COVID-19 data from the research data set which is publicly available. And they have taken all COVID-19 data and put it in data source, and they have created the Kendra indexes and integrated all the data here. So now these are not a one file or two file or 10 file. I can tell you these are 10,000 files are available here and a lot of data contents are available. And now you are getting this kind of search box to query the data, and how easy it's to find something meaningful with those data set. You can see, check now. So I'm just running some sample queries. Let's say you want to find out what are COVID-19 symptoms. I'm just running this search in search engine, and you can see with the help of Kendra, in a first click only, we have got highlighted bold letter with black with all symptoms. Like for COVID-19, the person can have like dry cough, fever, fatigue, loss of smell, taste, right? This is one of the sample which I'm trying to show how Kendra works and how easy it's to, get a meaningful information from a larger data set. If you look it out below here, you can also get an opportunity to like and dislike the comment. So if you like this answers, means what it really means is it suited your needs, right? And in the next time when someone will do query, they will try to make it the rank of these answers more competitive, right? So this is how the Kendra works. And you'll also get an opportunity to make it a various variants, like with the best matches, most cited, most published authors. You'll be able to do these kind of changes and the functionality. Also in the left side you can see like you can change the data between the particular date, or you can also add the custom dates. So these all things are available. So you can do these kind of queries very easily with the help of Amazon Kendra. There are other samples also available. Let's say I'm just making a search, what is the origin of COVID-19, right? So you can see, right, in a black letter they are like what the Kendra has done. The Kendra index went ahead and looked out the different sources, and it has come up with the result that like the origin seems to be a bat. From bat it has originated. So various kind of search you can do using natural language. What, when, how, all kind of things you can use. Let's say if you want to do a keyword search, let's say COVID in, let's say, US, right? So you can still do a keyword search and you can see the result. So this is the top result. You can see like how the impact of COVID in US. So coronavirus disease death per United States, you can see it, right? So there are multiple way you can do it, and this is publicly available URL. If you really want to see how the Kendra search works out, please go to this URL and try putting the questions or queries using a natural language or the keyword based search. You'll find out the right informations. Okay, moving ahead, let us understand how easy it's to build this dashboard, right? So you might be thinking whether Kendra provides this kind of dashboard, or can we integrate this kind of dashboard with our existing application? And the answer is yes. So you can work with Kendra using API and console. If you work with console, you will get this kind of search engine where you can make it a query. Even you can interact Kendra with API. So what you can do is you can build a website using, let's say, react.js, and you host that in AWS. So that will work as a front end, right? And in AWS side, what you have to do is you just have to create a Kendra index, and you have to upload your all files. Let's say if you want to use S3 as a connector, then upload all your documents in S3, and then you'll be able to make it a query. Similarly, if you want to connect to Salesforce or let's say RDS, you'll be able to do that. So it's a pretty easy, and in internet, the source code is also available for React.js. You can take a source code and you just edit it. You'll be good to go. Moving ahead, let us look at out some of the key features and functionality of Amazon Kendra. So as I mentioned, it supports a natural language. You will be able to perform a natural language queries. Let's say like how to set up a VPN, or how many days of leave my company is providing. You can able to provide query all these questions. Also, you can be able to do a keyword based searching. One of the unique feature which I want to talk about is the Kendra supports reading comprehension. So like whenever with a comprehension set, they will display you the right result. It can also do a FAQ matching. So you just provide your FAQs in AWS, and they will try to match with the data sources and provide you the right result. Kendra also do a document ranking, and based on the ranking, they arrange the document with the right answers. Connector is like a data source. So when they have launched it, they have launched with only few connector like S3, RDS, but based on my understanding, they are having multiple. They are having plans to launch a multiple connectors to connect a various data sources. So be the Dropbox or any SaaS-based application you are doing. In the future, they will be coming up with the more connectors. So it will be very easy for you to just connect with your data set, and it will be able to query. So be the, let's say, Oracle ERP, or let's say SAP, you will be able to query and find a meaningful data from financial document, or let's say operational document, or employee document. Kendra also do a relevance tuning, and what it means is, it learns from the responses, and based on the more data sets, going forward, it will keep on training the model, and the entire accuracy will be, increase as you move along, right? So this is again one of the key feature of Kendra. Domain optimization. So I would like to highlight this one also, because when AWS has designed this Kendra, what they have done they have trained this Kendra with various domain. So based on my understanding, they have trained this with 16 plus domain, be the manufacturing, pharma, retail, pharmaceutical, financials. They have trained Amazon Kendra with the various leading industry. So that will help you in providing you the right and accurate query response from Amazon Kendra. And also there are a couple of features are coming soon in Amazon Kendra, like incremental learning. So keep your eye on Amazon Kendra, and you'll get updated with these kind of launches and features. Moving ahead, so as we know, like whenever we go into the cloud, we talk about the security, which is a major concern. And whenever we are in AWS, we talk about the shared security model, right? Always. But if you look at out the Kendra, how the Kendra is secure, right? So whenever the data is in a transit, right? AWS is taking care of the security with HTTPS or TLS certificates. So they takes care of security using this. And whenever the data is in rest, whether AWS will, so you have both the opportunity. Either you come up with your own key, right? Using AWS key managed service, you can just create your own key and you encrypt the entire data set using that key, or let the AWS will, encrypt your data using AWS key. So you are having both the options available. And the bottom line, which I would like to highlight, is, as the one of August always speaks about, is dance like nobody's watching and encrypt like everybody is doing. And I always suggest everybody to, encrypt everything within AWS, be it EBS volume, or be it Amazon S3, or be it the real-time transmission of data, right? So Kendra is purely a secure service. You can easily try to leverage it. Let us look at out the quick demo how it looks like. So what I've done it, right, I have already created a Amazon Kendra index. By the way, before going to Amazon Kendra, I would like to inform you, currently it's available in only in 3 AWS regions, but they are having plans to launch in other AWS regions. So currently it is available in Northern Virginia, US West Oregon, and Europe, Ireland regions. So these are the 3 regions where it is currently available. But definitely they're having plans to launch it in various regions very shortly. So as I mentioned, the core pillar of Amazon Kendra is index, right? So as you can see, right, I have already created an index. It takes a couple of minutes to create an index, right? And the way index work is, right, I have created the index called as test. And the way index work is, right, it talks with the data sources, right? And it talks with the data sources and it synchronizes the data. So let's take a scenario, right? You are keep on writing the files in Amazon S3 in a regular interval, right? Then how this will work, how your Kendra will know, like whether it has the latest information available or not. So there is a feature of syncing. So you can sync the data. So you can specify, hey Kendra, what do in every 15 minutes, you go and check the data source and you sync it, right? And similarly, if you want to sync it up, every 1 hour, you can say Kendra, hey Kendra, you go back to the data source and sync the data in every 1 hour, right? Similarly, if you're running a batch kind of job, or let's say you are in a media business, right? Every daily you are coming up with the newspapers and all, right? You can say Kendra, hey Kendra, you can go to the data source every 24 hours and find the right information for me. So that's the way Kendra works, and Kendra go back and try to sync the data source, right? So if you can look it out, currently it's showing the active status. By the way, Kendra comes in a 2 modes. So the one mode is developer mode, and the second mode is enterprise mode. So developer mode is just for this is for a beginner mode. So if you're dealing with, let's say, 10,000 documents, or let's say a 5,000 document or 1,000 document, I would suggest to go for a developer mode, right? Which is a cheaper one and gives you a opportunity to understand the pros and cons of Kendra and how it better works, the features and functionality, right? But if you're really looking for a larger deployment, you can go for an enterprise board where you can have a lakhs of document which put there, and you can do a lot of queries on top of that, right? So when you see the way it works is when you upload a document and you put it there, Amazon also keep their eye on that, and it counts the your query response, and also the number of documents which you are uploading it. As you can see that in developer we are having limitation of 4,000 per day query only, and 10K of docs. If I go below in the left side, we have a data source. So here you'll get an options to pick up the data source. So as I mentioned, there are multiple connectors available currently as a data source. One is Amazon RDS, Relational Database Service, Amazon S3, OneDrive, Salesforce, ServiceNow, SharePoint. So these are some of the connector available. If you really want to get your hands dirty, you can just put your couple of files in Amazon S3. You can add as a connector in Amazon S3. Just specify the name, and in the next step, you'll get an opportunity to specify the S3 bucket where it will points to. So you can specify your S3 bucket here, and in that S3 bucket, you can upload, let's say, 20 documents or 50 documents, and you'll be able to, query those data using Kendra search. As I mentioned, we have options for FAQs. You can upload your FAQs here. Once uploaded, what Kendra will do, it will try to, match the document using this data set, and it will provide you right query. And this is the Kendra console. So currently see like I have not added any data sources, so it is showing it's not available. But once you add the data sources, you'll be able to query from this AWS console itself. And if you are a coder and love to do a coding in internet, I think this React.js code is available, with the help of which you can design your own search page and make it a query, right? So moving ahead, right, this is all about Kendra. Let's see what are the different use cases can be possible. So one of the things which comes to my mind is internal search, right? So whether be the manufacturing company or financial company or retail company, we deal with a lot of operational things, right? Where we are having a lot of policies or strategy, or let's say a best practices document. So it's advisable to leverage Kendra kind of service to prepare a web page, and people can be easily able to search the right information at the right time with various data sources, be the semi-structured data or unstructured data. Similarly, like if you are on a customer support kind of business, right, and if the customer is asking always the same question, let's say how to make a direct connectivity or how to make a VPN connectivity, right? And if you already have those answers available, predefined answers available, you can just upload those files so that whenever the users ask for those things, right, you'll be quickly able to provide the right solution without human effort, right? And also it's true for the R&D kind of thing. So whenever you do a research and come up with the new solutions or services or research paper, you just upload those in one of the data source, and you'll be able to find the meaningful informations. The second thing is external search, right? So you can also build a SaaS-based applications, or the ISV are having opportunity to build a SaaS-based application where you can customize this search, right, using Kendra, and you can add your content in a connector, and end users can go to your website and figure out something. So you can also build publicly available search also. Moving ahead, you can also create a custom search applications for mobile and web using Kendra. The last but not the least, there are a lot of cool use cases are available, and use case which come across is creating a let's say a chatbot, right, using Kendra. So how the architecture will look like, maybe you are very interested to it. Let's say you have built a chatbot using Amazon, which is a service to create a chatbot, right? So let's say you have created a chatbot using Lex, and within Lex you are writing, hey, I want to go to Malaysia, and what are the different hotels are available for 27th of August. You just have written in chatbot, right? And what it will do is it will come to Lex. Lex will call Lambda function, and Lambda will talk to Kendra, and Kendra will get the response from the data source, and it will return the response to Lambda, and then Lambda will show the result to chatbot. How cool it is, right? So this is how the architecture looks like. Maybe you can try building some chatbot, good chatbot, and leverage this Kendra internally as a service. So Kendra works perfectly fine with the services like Lex, or you want to have Amazon recognitions also coming together to build a cool architecture, right? You can do that. So these kind of chatbots are very helpful, when we look at out for the support kind of applications. Also, if you are in a training kind of business, right, or you do a lot of trainings contents, you can also have like these things up, this application available to the end user. Let's say you are in a business where you help the students to learn AWS and help them in a cracking AWS certification. You can build a chatbot or for a trainings where, let's say I want to learn a specific to, let's say, transit gateway. I'll say in a chatbot, I want to learn transit gateway, and the right contents will be available to me. Or let's say I am looking for an architecture where I can leverage a same direct connectivity for a multiple AWS account, and I want to connect my on-prem to AWS using Transit Gateway. I can get those kind of information very quickly using this chatbot. Or let's say I'm looking for like what are the key benefits of guard duty, or what are the some of the major findings of Amazon guard duty. So I can get those kind of informations very easily. So what next, right? Go to aws.amazon.com/Kendra and start your Amazon Kendra journey from now. With that, I would like to close this session from my side. Thank you, everyone.
Right. Thank you, Ankit. Thank you for that session. Hello, guys. Kaushik here. So we'll be taking up some questions for Ankit. We have one question from a YouTube user called Salachin. Seems like cloud search on steroids. So his question here is, does this still need cloud search as a database, Ankit?
Seems to be cloud search. It's not like a database. So when we say as a database, right? I think you are talking about only, let's say, relational or non-relational kind of data set. But here, what we are talking about is, even if you are having unstructured data, right, or data coming up in any format, or any SaaS-based application which you are running and you are having data, you just connect it, right? So it's very easy. So Kendra connects all the dots and
Right.
help you in finding right and insightful information for your business.
All right. And one question from my end. What made you actually explore Kendra? Was that like a business case that you had for your customer, or was it just by self-interest that you wanted to evaluate it?
Yeah, so I when the Kendra is announced in the reInvent, I have prepared the list of the 5 services which I am going to explore for this
Right.
year, and
Okay.
Kendra was one of the them. And why it interests me, because I have started putting a lot of efforts in the machine learning and AI side in 2019 and in 2020, and I have played with
Hmm.
Amazon Forecast. And TextRact. So I'm just looking at how I can integrate Kendra with all these services to prepare a right use case for the right industry.
Wonderful. Great. So, team, yes. So, if there's any questions, do drop it in. Uh, so, anyways, thank you, Ankit. Thank you for your time. Highly appreciate you actually taking the time out here and giving us a deep dive on AWS Kendra. Thank you, Ankit.
Thank you so much, Kaushik. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks a lot.
All right. So moving that forward, guys. So that was a good session on AWS Kendra. We will be, we have our next session planned out as well. But before that, we would need your feedback. This is very, very critical. We want your feedback. This is very essential to improve our sessions, give our feedback for our speakers, candid feedback so that they can get their required feedback, good and bad. And for us as well, how do we make this better? What are the key value adds for you from these sessions that you take forward? And yeah, hit the scan the QR code or the URL there. We look forward to hear from you, right? And do follow and subscribe us for all future events and more. We are very active on Facebook. That's been our primary source. We have started with YouTube now, and we want to grow here. So we will be not just doing events, but much more, tech talks, talking to key people in this industry. And I think you will be interested in that. So please do subscribe to this channel for further events and meet up for all other events as well. And now we are starting fresh with our LinkedIn group for more professional discussions. And we would look forward for you to join us there as well, right? And with that, with better planning, what we have put forward is the plan for the next meetup, which is going to be on the 24th of September. Same time, we'll start at 7 p.m. MYT. And these are our two speakers who will be talking on very important and nice, interesting topics. So we look forward to have you during that session, right? We, Mo, and Salam, and all the organizers as part of this group, I look forward to have you on that. Mo, any closing thoughts from you?
Thanks, Kaushik, for this. I think just want to thank Salam for helping us, and Gauhar, who's always doing the designs, and the guys from AWS for all the support, Donny and Faz and all the guys. I think that's
Fabian,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So I will create the events as
All
well
right.
for the September on Meetup on Facebook soon.
Right. Right. All right. See you guys there. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.